But today, almost anyone, anywhere can get their art out there and become famous and become a prolific artist and be able to get their content out there, whether they're a speaker, a writer, an artist, whatever. So it's it's interesting because we did have stronger familial communities in the past,
Mhm.
but it seems like we have stronger, more international online communities today instead in its place.
Also, that goes back to the fact that you that the alpha and um, boom, my brain, alpha, Gen Zs, and millennials tend to be more empathetic, anyways,
Mhm.
because you were allowed to be. You people were more open to hear who you were, and it was more common. It wasn't as ostracized as it was at the time, obviously when I was growing up. And so there are a lot of people who have a place to go, to your point. So maybe in your neighborhood, or you don't believe in your neighborhood, there's anyone like you or anyone who is interested in the things that you're interested in. But I might get online and I might find someone that is just only in Oakland, but I didn't know that. But online we found each other, or whatever the case may be. So it does, to your point, have its pluses. Um, it can be done. And even people find groups, like you said, social groups where maybe you want to get out and you want to ride your bikes again. Well, there's groups now. You can get on a social group through social media. There's always going to be a group for that. So you can at least find those people. So it definitely has its pluses there. And like you said, for somebody in my age group who we had to learn to trust it in the first place. The next step is trusting whatever group you're in. And I've gotten better at that, obviously, as I've gotten older. I wouldn't even be on this podcast, but I've gotten older. I've gotten better with that because I have found some really good groups since then. So it does make a difference. I appreciate that we have that opportunity. It's helped me be able to go all over the world safely. So I do like it. There
Mhm.
are still communities though that they don't have something like that, but you see them. I know when I was in Sweden this summer, it was just a different vibe. They were very laid back, but very technologically savvy. But everyone rode their bikes, like and or train. There were very few cars on the road, and the I saw a big truck and thought it was lost. The whole 10 days, I only saw one truck. Everything was small, or everyone was on the trains. I mean, kids rode those trains to school, or they're riding their bikes. And there was also the community gardens, which would be very helpful if we could have for the people that lived in the suburbs. There were those, they call them allotments, and they're just community gardens. And so you can grow your food there and share with your neighbors. And I mean, and that was 2024. So you can mix the old with the new.
We need something like that here.
We do. It would be, and we're probably going to have to do it because
Hmm.
we'll be forced to, which I think will be good.
Yeah.
So,
I sometimes wonder if stronger, like it, in the same way, like small towns, you know how like there's that notorious, if you go into small towns, everyone knows that you're not from there and they're like,
mhm.
get out of here. I've heard a psychological argument that small communities naturally generate that attitude, that behavior, because once you're a small enough group, you
Mhm.
want to keep outsiders out because you want to preserve the environment that you've already created.
Mhm.
So I've heard a theory that small towns allow racism to fester because it's basically like the people that are there have kind of gathered there for the same reasons, and so then they're
Mhm.
going to be distrustful of outsiders, and that distrust of outsiders is basically the first step towards racism.
It is. You
Where
can
once
find
you
you
start
pick
to
bigotry.
distrust the group, then you start to find all of the reasons to continue
Mhm.
distrusting them, and that morphs into outright hatred and
Right.
awful behavior.
You create your own echo chamber.